What's up, Dolphins fans? I'm Dustin Davis, and this is your quick Express Report. The Chicago Bears stand at a crossroads few saw coming this early in the campaign. After seasons of unfulfilled promise and painful near misses, the franchise finds itself wrestling with questions that demand immediate answers. Questions about leadership under pressure, defensive vulnerabilities that keep mounting, and whether the front office possesses the courage to act decisively before opportunity slips away. Internally, the tension is palpable. Every game exposes the fragility of a roster stretched thin by injuries, while simultaneously revealing flashes of the potential that made preseason optimism feel justified. The coaching staff watches film knowing that certain weaknesses cannot be coached away, only addressed through decisive roster moves that require both conviction and calculated risk. What unfolds in the coming weeks will either validate this organization's belief in its own trajectory or reveal that the gap between aspiration and reality remains wider than anyone wants to admit. The pieces are scattered across the board, and Chicago's decision-makers must choose whether to play it safe or push their chips forward while the opportunity still exists. Let's check out all the latest developments in Chicago. But first, can I ask you a quick favor? If you're enjoying the content, just hit that like button. It helps us more than you think. Thank you so much. Could Caleb Williams already possess the composure Chicago has been searching for? Malcolm Gladwell's concept of accumulated mastery, the notion that prolonged exposure breeds expertise, isn't invoked here to suggest Williams has reached some mythical threshold. Rather, it explains why certain qualities become instantly recognizable to those who've spent years studying the game. Monday night delivered one of those unmistakable moments. Following Washington's third turnover, Jaden Daniels fumbling a handoff, Chicago faced 3rd and 5 with the clock showing 2 minutes. After a pair of running plays, Williams settled into the pocket and connected with rookie Colston Loveland on a critical conversion that extended the drive and preserved their chances. ESPN's cameras captured Williams' face as the offense regrouped, and the image told a story. That steady, unruffled demeanor is precisely what you need from your signal caller when the margin is razor thin. It's the presence that communicates to every teammate in the huddle. Execute your assignment, trust the system. Head coach Ben Johnson mentioned earlier in the week that Williams' heart rate actually decreases in high-pressure situations, a physiological marker of control rather than anxiety. The final drive didn't require Williams to conjure magic from nothing. Jake Moody's field goal as time expired secured the victory. Johnson revealed post-game that he had instructed Caleb before the series, "Tell the big guys up front we're going to ride the run game to the victory." That strategic direction matters, but the lasting impression comes from witnessing a Bears quarterback display such measured confidence, something this franchise hasn't seen in recent memory. This moment deserves recognition. Areas requiring improvement are evident and numerous. Broadcasters Joe Buck and Troy Aikman noted during the game that Williams entered Monday leading the league in errant throws, while his passer rating set 17th through 6 games. He occasionally misses progressions, sometimes grips the ball longer than ideal, his completion percentage falls well short of the preseason 70% target, and his emotional reactions on the sideline can become visible as they did Monday night. Perfection eludes him, yet the intangible element carries significant weight. Williams possesses that crucial composure. For the present, that quality matters above all else. During his post-game session with reporters, Williams emphasized that his calmness wasn't an individual achievement. He credited the entire roster, offense, defense, and special teams for maintaining focus whether Washington initially grabbed the lead, pushed it to 8 points, or when Chicago's offense took the field with minutes remaining and a chance to secure victory. "Time to go win the game and not give the ball back to them again," Williams explained when asked about his mindset after Noshawn Wright recovered Daniels' fumble with under 3 minutes left. Last season, surrendering possession to Jaden Daniels in comparable circumstances produced a devastating Hail Mary that derailed what had been a promising stretch. This time, the narrative reversed. Chicago departed Northwest Stadium celebrating rather than crushed. Williams acknowledged the weight of history while maintaining focus on what lies ahead. "I don't think any of those memories necessarily go away, good or bad. I think you move on from it, but it doesn't ever necessarily fully go away. Being able to have this good moment is great, but we've got a big game coming up this week, so we got to move on." Throughout the press conference, he distributed credit generously. Jake Moody, DeAndre Swift, and the entire defensive unit received recognition, but his strongest praise targeted the head coach. Describing Johnson as a mastermind, Williams detailed how the coach's confidence and strategic acumen affect his mental readiness. Sometimes he's on the headset and he's like, "This is a great play call right here. Here we go." He did that today and he says that to me. He has all belief and confidence in himself. And then those little things actually provide confidence when you're about to go call the play. We believe in him, we trust him, and we trust our other coaches. I think that's going to continue and keep growing. While the offense found its footing, Chicago's defense continues battling through a wave of injuries that won't heal overnight. Could Rasul Douglas provide the stability Chicago's injured secondary desperately needs? Sitting at 3-2, the Chicago Bears have at least managed to cross into winning territory. A modest achievement considering the injury devastation they've absorbed through the opening weeks of the season. Chicago's defensive backfield has been particularly ravaged. All-Pro boundary cornerback Jaylon Johnson remains sidelined indefinitely with a groin injury, while reliable depth option Terrell Smith is lost for the entire season. These losses have forced Chicago into makeshift configurations. Tyreek Stevenson has been thrust into the CB1 role, Kyler Gordon has returned to nickel duties following his own recovery, and backup options Noshawn Wright and slot cornerback Nick McLeod have delivered uneven performances. One name that continues surfacing as a potential solution is Rasul Douglas, currently with the Miami Dolphins. Acquiring him would necessitate a trade, but Pro Football Focus analyst Bradley Locker recently identified Chicago as a logical landing spot for the veteran cornerback. Douglas didn't sign with the Dolphins until late August, which was surprising given his pedigree. As it turns out, there are likely a myriad of teams that would have liked to have added Douglas earlier based on his play in 2025. Douglas has posted a 77.9 PFF coverage grade with 3 pass breakups across 161 coverage snaps, looking more like the standout player we saw in 2023. At 1-5 and with persistent locker room turmoil, Miami will likely have a for sale sign up. The 30-year-old rental could help the Falcons, who hold the worst PFF coverage grade at cornerback at 47.1, or the Bears, who are without Jaylon Johnson indefinitely. Douglas's career path includes stints in Philadelphia, Carolina, Green Bay, Buffalo, and now Miami. He earned a championship ring as a Philadelphia rookie and has sustained productive contributions ever since. Chicago fans will recall most vividly his tenure with divisional rival Green Bay, where he logged 36 appearances and 28 starts. During his time in Green Bay, Douglas established himself as a ball-hawking playmaker, recording 9 interceptions across the 2021 and 2022 campaigns and returning 2 for touchdowns. Following a midseason trade to Buffalo in 2023, he added 4 more interceptions and another defensive score. Douglas remains an effective, above-average contributor who could immediately upgrade Chicago's secondary. Through 6 games with Miami this season, 4 as a starter, he's recorded 26 tackles, 1 for loss, 4 pass breakups, 1.0 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and a forced fumble. He's working on a 1-year deal signed in late August with Miami, keeping his salary modest and avoiding complications with Chicago's future salary cap planning. His cap hit, slightly above $1.5 million, represents excellent value relative to his on-field production. With the trade deadline approaching on November 5th, and considering his age and contract circumstances, Douglas would likely cost no more than a mid to late round draft selection in any transaction. PFF's evaluation carries weight. Douglas would represent a clear upgrade over Wright and could align opposite Stevenson on the perimeter until Johnson returns to health. It would be a prudent and logical move for Bears general manager Ryan Poles to at least initiate contact and determine the veteran cornerback's availability. Another position group facing similar challenges is the pass rush, where depth has become a growing concern as the deadline approaches. Chicago entered the campaign expecting Montez Sweat and Daya Odeyingbo to create a disruptive edge combination. But through 5 games, the duo has failed to generate consistent, impactful production. The unit's development under first-year defensive coordinator Dennis Allen shows promise, yet depth behind Sweat, Odeyingbo, and the inexperienced Austin Booker remains concerning. NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo identified veteran Arden Key as a player generating trade interest, with ESPN's Adam Schefter also listing Key among realistic possibilities. Among the edge players who have garnered interest are the Titans' Arden Key, the Dolphins' Bradley Chubb, and the Packers' Kingsley Enaguare, Rappaport and Garafolo reported on October 11th, noting that Tennessee appears open for business. At 29 years old, Key is in the final year of a 3-year, $21 million deal signed in 2023 and carries a salary just over $7 million this season, terms that position him as an attractive short-term addition. The Raiders selected him in the third round in 2018, and he managed just 3.0 sacks across his initial 3 NFL seasons before resurging with San Francisco in 2021. Key rediscovered his form with the 49ers and has since built a reputation as a reliable rotational pass rusher. He posted 6.5 sacks in 2021, contributed 4.5 sacks during a single 2022 season with the Jaguars, then secured a multi-year contract from Tennessee. He recorded 6.0 sacks and 57 quarterback pressures in 2023 and equaled a career high with 6.5 sacks in 2024. Through 5 games this season, he has 1.5 sacks, but sat out Week 6 with a minor quadriceps problem. Beyond a 2019 broken foot that concluded his season prematurely, Key's availability has been consistent. He's appeared in at least 14 games in every other campaign. A 6-game suspension last summer was reversed on appeal, and no ongoing issues have emerged since. If Tennessee genuinely shops veterans, Key could represent one of Chicago's more practical, affordable targets. Standing 6'5" and weighing 240 pounds, he brings the length and athletic traits Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen prefers, and his versatility, including the ability to move inside on passing situations, provides schematic options. Realistically, negotiations would likely begin around a 2026 fifth-round selection. Key would not only create competition opposite Sweat, but also strengthen rotational depth and decrease dependence on less established players. Given Chicago's current edge rotation and Key's manageable contract structure, making at least one exploratory inquiry before the November deadline appears to be a reasonable step for general manager Ryan Poles. Yet the most ambitious move Ryan Poles could make involves a different kind of defender, one who dominates from the interior trenches. Following their Week 5 bye, Chicago returned to action with a Monday night matchup against Washington, carrying a record suggesting they could remain competitive moving forward. With the NFC North tightly bunched, the November 4 trade deadline carries significance, and the Tennessee decision to terminate head coach Brian Callahan has created a believable scenario where the Titans shift toward rebuilding and make veterans available, including nose tackle Jeffery Simmons. Selected 19th overall in the 2019 draft, Simmons has evolved into one of the league's most destructive interior defenders. Across 7 seasons, he's compiled 337 tackles, 57 tackles for loss, and 36 sacks, and he's opened this year strongly with 28 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 4.5 sacks through 6 games. Pro Football Focus rates Simmons as an elite interior presence. His 85.3 overall grade ranks 6th, while a 91.3 pass rushing grade tops all qualifying interior defenders. For Chicago, acquiring Simmons would constitute a massive upgrade up front. The Bears attempted to address interior pressure by signing Grady Jarrett this offseason to a 3-year, $42.75 million contract, but Jarrett has been restricted to 3 games and just 4 total tackles while managing knee problems. Second-round selection Shamar Turner has also failed to deliver consistent impact, appearing in only 2 contests. Simmons carries a substantial $22.9 million cap hit that far exceeds Chicago's current $8.2 million cushion, making the financial challenge genuine. Still, at 28 years old and confronting a franchise reset in Tennessee, Simmons might prefer a contender and could be willing to renegotiate terms or accept a contract adjustment that alleviates Chicago's cap constraints. This is precisely the type of evolving situation worth tracking as the deadline nears. And with Callahan's departure, the discussion about Simmons joining a contender like Chicago has become considerably more realistic. So there you have it, 4 potential moves that could reshape Chicago's season before the November deadline closes. But now we want to hear from you. Should Ryan Poles pull the trigger on trading for Rasul Douglas to shore up the secondary while Jaylon Johnson recovers, or would that pick be better spent elsewhere? What about Arden Key? Is he the rotational edge rusher this defense desperately needs, or should Chicago aim higher? And here's the big one. Would you mortgage future assets to rescue Jeffery Simmons from Tennessee's rebuild, even with the massive contract complications that come with him? Leave in the comments what you would do if you were Ryan Poles. Support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. Stay one step ahead with all the latest on Bears. See you in the next one.